On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight, thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Power Media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from everybody. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Ancestral line.
Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your Sister K Fighter, Brother Tad, Brother Blacksmith, and Sister Marcia, along with our regular correspondents, Sister Brooke and Brother Divine, the U.S. Freedmen's Project, activists for reparations on the ground. So they'll be joining us shortly. Let me get my Brother Tad, the OG Wisdom Podcast, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Brother Tad, how are you?
Check 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me, sis?
Loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear.
I don't know why I don't hear myself through my headphones, but that's all right.
I'm
doing good. I'm feeling blessed and highly favored.
Happy New Year to you, brother.
Yeah, happy new Gregorian calendar New Year.
There you go. Make the other folks feel accepted right now. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But all the best to you and yours for this new year.
Same to you.
Yes, we got to make 2026 better than 2025 because 2025 kicked me in the behind. So I definitely want it up and popping in 2026. Let me get my brother Blacksmith. Brother Blacksmith, you ready? Are you ready? Give me the thumbs up, brother. All right. Welcome to Bronx on the Brooklyn Bridge. Brother Blacksmith, what's happening?
Peace, y'all. Peace to the family. Happy New Year to everyone. I see Tag got the sign up. We universal. Another year, another go at it. Let's get it. Take it back, Sister Keisha.
Oh, that's right. Happy New Year to you too, brother.
The Black.
Let's give some shout outs real quick. All Bones 57. Respect to you. Aruba 927. Doggy Diamonds TV Mods up on the check-in. And Best Stop Finest. What's happening, Sister Aruba? Sister Brooke will be joining us shortly. Thank you, brother. We appreciate that. We work very hard over here to make sure that we feed our people with a lot of information, especially in these critical times. So we definitely appreciate that. Our sister Tanisha Murdoch, one of our sponsors for tonight's show. Shout out to her. Always supporting the program, showing us love, and all the best to you, sis, in 2026. Let's get it popping. It's up for 2026. So, Brother Black, you know, give us the 1-2, brother. The first few was on you. What you feeling? What have you seen? What you want the people to know about? Let us know, brother.
Well, to introduce the show, let's talk about. Give me 1 second. To introduce the
I
show,
like
I
how he
want
did
to
that.
talk about.
Yeah. See how he
What's that,
did
bro?
that? He disappeared. Like you got beamed up, son.
I'm telling you, I'm on the roof, steamed up, steamed up, not beamed up.
All right,
But
yeah.
real talk, real talk on what's going on as we see. Again, I always have to preface it with whether you like him or not. Trump is delineating for FBA by separating those who don't mess with FBA, and he did a new situation. He's doubling down on the Minneapolis Somali community, and it looked like Ilhan Omar is not only going to get fired from Congress, but also sent back along with those who. Now, let me say this to the people out there who think it's every Somali. Of course, it ain't. Everything ain't for everybody. So every single one of them ain't doing it, but as a community, they are, and they want to send the ones back who are being convicted. This is a trial thing at this point. This is not, okay, you here illegal, so we just going to get rid of you. The ones that are actively doing the fraud are the ones that they're sending back to Somalia. I don't know if they're going to remove their temporary resident status, but all that is in the work right now. We already seen he got rid of a whole bunch of Latinos, so it's only going to be the same with those who especially are out of pocket. And the delineation continues, and a lot of people ain't liking it, but FBA got to do their thing. It's the time. You know what I'm saying? And the times determine what happens. So continue with what y'all doing, and I'm here for it. As far as what's happening in the background, there's a lot of things going on, and the EBS is on deck. I've been saying this for years, so I'm not going to tell you no dates or any expectancy in time, because y'all know I've been talking about this since y'all knew me, and even before that. But I believe that things is coming. We just came from a 9-year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. And now we in 2026, which equals 10. And when you take the 0 off, be back in the new beginning with the 1. That's numerology stuff. I ain't making this up. You can find that stuff easily. It's time for those of us who have been doing the real work to reap the rewards of what we're doing. I tagged you guys early. I don't know if you saw it. I know you're not on Facebook like I am, but the San Francisco mayor, I believe, is trying to get $5 million to each FBA African American, whatever you want to call it, in reparations. And I believe it's already been signed into law, but I believe they need congressional help, or federal help, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, things is moving in a way where it need to be done. If you want, I can post it in the chat after I finish speaking with y'all if you want to see it, and then refer to it later on, Sister Keisha. So there's a lot going on with that. But in the background as well, the EBS is on deck, Nasara Jasara. A lot of things is happening. The things I was talking about 4 or 5 years ago during Trump's first administration is now coming to light. There's a guy I follow on Facebook. His name is IC Turan. I suggest y'all check him out. That's where I'm getting a lot of my intel, as well as Benjamin Fullfoot. A lot of stuff on Telegram. I hope y'all at least have a page on there, or y'all look at it with some of the stuff that's coming out of there. And we just got to keep going, and just hope that all is well. 2026, it promises to be a crazy year. We seen last week, 2 weeks ago, the Pacific Northwest was going through it. Oh, Sister Keisha got it already laid out up there for y'all.
She quick on it.
They haven't. Say again, bro.
She quick on it. You said she pulled it up
sure.
faster than AI.
2 weeks ago and a week and a half ago, the Pacific Northwest went through it. Whole towns was flooding out, Montana, Oregon, and Washington State. But the media hardly covering it. So that could mean that it's either HARP or maybe there's people up there they got to get rid of, so they just not reporting it so that it can be quiet and so on and so forth. But those places were a disaster area 2 weeks ago. So you could look into that and see that, definitely like what Bobby Hemmett used to always say in his lectures, you know what I'm saying? Don't think about moving or doing all that crazy stuff. If it ain't for you, it ain't going to happen to you. So you could be, the only people that's getting affected that look like us is the ones that's up around them. And that's not very many people, because I've been in that part of the country and there are not many of us up there. So with the exception of Seattle and maybe a little bit in Portland, but other than that, we're not up there like that. So that's basically it. If you have any questions or anything else you might want me to cover for a second, I can get into it. If not, I'll let y'all have it back.
Thank you, Brother Black, for that. I do have some questions, but shout out to Uncle Jesse, Marie, Arnold, Anthony, Michelle, Pizzo. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Shout out to the family. But I hope they get this Somalian.
Oh, yeah.
You hope they what now?
I hope they get this Somalian on the deport list.
Oh, yeah.
Because this Somalian came out and said she was attacked by black men. I think it was in Atlanta. I may be mistaken on that.
I think it's Houston. Houston.
Okay, Houston.
Yeah.
This heifer right here, I hope she's on the deport list. Get her the F up out of here. Because she didn't say nothing bad about Somalis. Everything is related to black. And this is what I'm saying. When you throw black men under the bus for your own gain, nothing good is going to come out of that. Because everybody knows we are the chosen force. So you can either fly with us or fly against us. But if you fly against us, all hell is going to come against you. So I hope they get this heifer deported if she hasn't already. A matter of fact, I had tagged this post when I reposted it with ICE, because I'm not playing with folks no more. I want her out of here. Cause a whole
money too, right?
Say that again, brother.
She had to pay back the money she scammed too, didn't she?
I believe so. I believe so. Typical Somali scammer.
And she's in jail. I don't know if she's still in right now, but she had
was out. She was out making TikTok videos not too long ago. She was out making TikTok videos. But I hope they round this heifer up and get her the F up out of here ASAP. But I wanted to ask you, Brother Black, because I don't know if you've heard, but the Pentagon failed another audit. I think it's like the 18th audit that the U.S. Pentagon has failed. Now, if I fail an audit, or Brother Tad or yourself, they want to see us. Ask Wesley Snipes. They put him behind bars. But it seems to me that none of these folks ever get indicted for failing these audits. Let us know if you heard about that and what's your take on it.
Well, I didn't hear about it recently. I told y'all this maybe 2 years ago, and hopefully you remember it. When I was working on as a merchant seaman, at one point I was working with what they call the steward department as a storekeeper, meaning we had to account for everything that came on and off the ship, whether it was a part that was like smaller than a finger ring, or an engine that's 2 floors high, and we had to account for it. So when I first started doing it, my boss that was training me at the time, I asked him, I said, how much is the budget? He told me the amount. I don't remember right now at the time. He told me the amount, and so I'm like seeing we going over the budget, and we just doing one run, while he's training me. So I said, what happens when we go over budget? He said, we just go in the hole. He said it so casually. He'd been doing the job for a while at that point. So I'm like looking at him. I'm like, how can this system sustain itself? And this is just one ship and me doing like maybe an hour worth of work. They do that all day. Because remember, we're talking about a ship. A ship is a moving building, basically. So it's a million billion parts. And I'm just talking about the parts. I'm not even talking about the food, the furniture, beds, and desks, and everything that goes into a building that's moving on these ships all over the world every day of the year. And so, for me to know, working in government and so on and so forth, I already know how that worked because I was in the military too. All of that. So I already know that they're working at a deficit, and people who are economists and so on were saying for years, this was over 20 years ago. What they keep doing is printing money. And this is why when we hear about how great the economy is, it's all bullshit. Trump has to destroy the economy so they could put in the reset, which is already ready. And that's why I was talking about the EBS. For those of you who don't know what the EBS is, that is the emergency broadcasting system to say this shit is over and we're about to jump off into the next.
Yes,
So that's
it's
how that works
definitely
with everything government.
digital, brother. And for those who don't know, that was work behind the scenes. While a lot of people was paying attention to the Epstein files, that work was definitely being done behind the scenes. Also, too, for those who looking to score, if you will, in the coming year, buy yourself some XRP. All right. Now I think when I bought it, it was like 15 cents or something. So now it's like at $1.84 or 85 cents, something like that. But the projection earlier this year is that it should hit over $5. So you want to get in on XRP right now if you can. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds TV. Before I move on any further, the roast to close out 2025 was Doggy Diamonds TV on Fat Joe, aka Puppet Legs. Yo, when he said one of his legs is doing their own thing, I fell on the floor. Yo, I fell on the floor. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds TV on that, brother. The roast of the year. Fat Joe, it's a wrap for you. Stay out of his comments. Stop saying he's a nobody, because you're going to keep getting dusted. And like he said, how you going to race people when your leg is going every which way and your body look like SpongeBob? So you cannot do this. Dad, your thoughts on that episode of Doggy Diamonds TV?
Well, it was hilarious to me because we had already talked about it before he went there. The morning Fat Joe jumped in the comments, he was like, yo, look at this dude in my comments. I'm like, word. Even Little Tad was laughing. Little Tad was like, yo, he had to get up, punch your name in, and then intentionally go to your comments just to leave a post. You know what I mean? But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, And I always celebrate Dog. I always tell my children, he out of the family, he's the one who really pursued his dreams the most. When people tried to discourage him, he wouldn't be discouraged. When the crew was bailing out because things didn't look like they thought it should, he kept going. Like you said, 19 years doing independent media, and not to mention he's been doing this for over 30 years, easy. Over 30 years, easy. Came into the music industry with Track Masters. Of course, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but Little Kim said, you're responsible for help starting our career. So it was funny. He told Fat Joe, where's your album? Where's your Biggie album? But like I told him, we got to keep this fun internet, because I don't want to come out of retirement. I don't, some of our folks are not in retirement, and it would mess Fat Joe head up with the people we would come with, because he's really secure with acting like a gangster. But like I said on the show before, a lot of these dudes were in the studios when the real ones, many of us, were still in the streets, out there fighting for our lives, catching cases, getting caught up in all kind of pum play and all that stuff. So you could talk tough. And now we're at a certain age where none of that even matters anymore. Like most of us are over 50. Who even care how tough you are anymore? Like that's played out. How smart are you? You know, that's where we at with it. Can you solve your own problems? Can you help the community? Are you taking care and supporting your family? That's where it's at. Because we don't want to revert back to who we used to be. Because we still got people on the inside that's waiting for any ops to come through. That's the easy part. So, you know, kudos to Doggy, you know, for putting his foot on Fat Joe neck, because a lot of people are afraid. A lot of these celebrities know he lying. Shout out to Jadakiss, because you know Jadakiss throw the flag on the play. Like, come on, throw the flag. Like, come on, we supposed to believe that? And I'm glad they got that balance. You know, one thing I'll say, because I was definitely anti-Fat Joe as a person, even though I don't know him personally, but I see what he's doing. He's selling a story. He's a businessman. He's not a great musician, but he's selling good stories. That's why they're so unbelievable and phenomenal. And he's trying to ride Doggy's wave because he know who Doggy is. Doggy said, check out the clip where Nori said, if it wasn't for you, there would be no Drink Champs. Doggy had him. He said, no, repeat that again. Say that again. He said, if it wasn't for you, there would be no Drink Champs. I wouldn't be doing this. And Doggy always give it up to Ralph McDaniels. You know what I mean? The real OG of it. Shout out to Brooklyn. He's not from the Bronx, Black, so don't get too hype. Ralph McDaniels is from Brooklyn.
I thought you was going to talk about my Bronx homie Hassan Campbell when you said that.
Nah, right? But Doggy has helped Hassan Campbell, Mav Hoffa, Choke No Joke. Who else? So many people that he's helped that are doing their thing, and rightfully so. You know, it's space for everybody, but at the same token, I always say respect the architects, respect those who built the foundation or whatever it is you're trying to do. Same way as we tell people, you know, you come here as a Black person from whatever country you are, we ain't got no issues as long as you respect the architect, respect those of us that was already here, laid the foundation and opened the gate for you to come through. Don't come over here trying to kick dirt. Because you see what's happening now. Our legacy, Black Americans' legacy in this country has been a legacy of resistance. That's it. More than the food, more than the fashion, more than the dance and the language, it's been the fact that we were not afraid to take on the system. We took on all challenges. Shout out to Jack Johnson. Yeah, and I'm off my soapbox.
Hey, Sister Keisha,
Yes,
one
sir.
more thing
Go
I
ahead.
want to talk about that I
Go
remember
ahead.
while y'all was talking. While I respect what Nicki Minaj did, I don't respect how she did it, because as a Trump supporter myself, you know, I don't like when people don't like you because of your political affiliation or, you know, thereof, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how you feel about me personally. If I'm strategizing, if I'm planning, I'm not liking a political figure because they're white or because I'm talking about their political strategy and what it means for us. If you down with that. If you're not, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But a lot of people got it confused. What I didn't like about how she did it was meeting with Erica Kirk, who was very suspect. And that gives us some level of legitimacy. And before I get off my soapbox, I just wanted to ask y'all if y'all seen this new back and forth going on between 50 and Papoose. And then I'm off. I'm done.
I saw Papoose throw a shot at 50 cents, and I was like, wow, where this come from? But to Nicki Minaj, right? She's a walking contradiction because she sold the image. She sold the image of indecency and depravity, and she's a hypocrite. It ain't about her supporting Trump or the right wing. It's deeper than all of that. Even though that is a part of it, she's part of the problem herself. She was selling this poison to our people, to our children. It was her jumping on stage with dildos and strap-ons and playing her alter ego, what is it, Roman Lansky or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah,
Herself.
Roman. It was Roman. It was
Yeah,
Roman.
yeah. It was her. So I find it funny. Her and what's the other bald headed chick name? Kanye West old
Doja
chick?
Cat. You talking about?
Amber
Oh, you talking about Amber Rose?
Amber Rose.
Yeah, huh?
See, I don't have no problem with people growing. We supposed to grow. But we know when it's a sudden flip like that with no evidence of really doing putting in the work and the effort. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's your community work. Where's your community outreach? You haven't earned that spot. You just got the money and said, you know what? I got the celebrity. Let me rock with y'all since I'm mad at Jay-Z and Jay-Z with the Democrat Party. So I just want to be the ops to them. That's
And
it's
that's what I wanted. And that was a great point you just made, because I was kind of going to go there. What I'm thinking, she already told Ray J, just admit to everybody you gay and all the dudes you run with. We know about Chris Stokes and all that. I wrote
I
about that
remember
in my
that.
book.
Mm-hmm.
Bye
like,
bye, hip hop will never die. We already know about all that. I mean, those of us old enough or involved in this to know what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is, this might be the perfect. Remember, infiltration works both ways. So just like you got people in the Democrat Party, that like Nikki and Amber Rose and people that was riding with that 10, 15 years ago, they also got people that was in there as deep cover operatives that's coming out now so that they could tell what really happens in the parties, which we already know as a result of Diddy, R. Kelly, on and on and on. But I think it's time for all of this to come out, and this is just like the introduction to get it out there more.
right.
I'm done.
No, but we know the power's in the people, so we're not following these celebrities. Because I hear what you're saying of thinking of the lines of the spook who sat by the door. They get in, get the information, won't. But remember, this is their system. And the moment you buck at it, oh, we got some folks that's gonna get at you, a la R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, anybody else you could think of, whether they politically inclined or not. You know, it's only so much you can say and do. That's why it's best you just keep quiet and don't play the game. You can't lose a game you don't play. And these people are losing because they're playing the game. Remember, they came after Puff after he started talking about suing DeLagio, talking about the racism, because I think George Clooney was one of their representatives too for DeLagio, the liquor company. That Puff was acting as if he was an owner of Ciroc, but he was really the representative. And I think George Clooney was doing with the Casamigos, I believe it is. I believe DeLagio owned all of that. So Puff realized, yo, we moving more bottles over here than George Clooney, but y'all paying him and others way more money than me. Come on, this ain't right. And you know, you're supposed to just shut up and dribble, or shut up and run, whatever they tell you to do. And he tried to bucket the system because remember, Puff is arrested for being a bad boyfriend. None of that stuff, no children, no Oprah and Obama tapes came out. None of that, all that stuff they were saying, none of that stuff is there. It's just lies. They create an energy around the
No, it's
person.
there,
They
brother.
convict you in a court of public opinion. And then when they do come with that little misdemeanor or whatever you want to call it, I'm not explaining away what he did, but of course, again, it wasn't what they said it was because it got the people outraged because he was supposed to have been moving children all around the place. And we seen that wasn't so. He was just a freak that like
He
baby
was.
oil. And we seen 50 Cent baby mothers into that too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a game we really gotta divorce ourselves from and really focus on what we're doing right now. I think the FBA is the dopest catalyst we can have right now in modern times, where we do delineate and talk about the specifics of what has been owed to us since our sojourn of dealing with these people here. You know, since they came, whether some of us came on the ship or some of us was already in, we know we've always had a fight. That's what give Dr. King his relevance. Malcolm, you name them, Mega Evers. We go down the list. Martin Delaney. We can keep going down the list. Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. All of their relevance come from fighting this system, fighting this unjust system. And I think they see that we're relentless. Just as relentless as they are, so are we. We're gonna fight them every step of the way. They dropped that rock in our community. Some people fell victim, others fought against it. You know, we always just gonna fight. And I think now that the world is small, and I'm going to pass the mic to Sister Keisha when I say this after I'm done. I think now that they see the world is smaller and they got too many enemies, they running out of steam. We know they had negative birth rate. Like they like, yo, we fighting a losing battle. We might as well wave the flag, give these people what they want because they ain't going nowhere. We don't die, we multiply. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. And shout out to R. Boone. I may run for president one day. Word. But sis, I get a mic to you.
I did. But as Brother Black said, because I think I heard Black. If I'm wrong, he can correct me. He said he did.
Hey, one more thing, Brother Tab, before you.
He did do those things. However, none of that came out as being tried for him in the case. Go ahead, Black. You muted. Something must be wrong.
Oh, I think
he went to another galaxy, the Bronx, that is.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. In a court of law, where are the children? You know, because allegations is one thing, sis, you know, and I always tell people I got my education from the streets, and I've seen people get deleted for false accusations.
Mm-hmm.
That part. If you can't prove it, don't say it. You know.
I think he's back.
As part of that, let me tell you part. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Part of that is I don't know if y'all remember when I was talking about this stuff, you know, when I first started coming on the show. Part of what's going to happen is there's going to be trials shown 24 hours to show the real stuff of what happened behind the scenes. Going back to something you said a few minutes ago, Brother Tad, as far as George Clooney, he just escaped to France, him and his wife. Because they said they're
you're glitching, brother. You're glitching. You're glitching. Let me bring him out and maybe he can fix it behind the scenes because you're glitching, brother. Let's get Sister Marcia up on the Brooklyn Bridge because I really want to discuss this petition for Nicki Minaj. Sister Marcia, Africans on the Rise, what's happening?
Happy New Year, everyone. The Gregorian calendar has turned to 2026. So that's interesting. Oh, I got some feedback happening.
Yeah.
Still feedback? Sorry about that. Good. Okay. Again, Happy New Year to everyone through the Gregorian calendar. I hope everyone is well. And I'm still a Kwanzaa girl, so may faith bring us forth. And let's chop it up. How has everyone been? Your week with your family?
Good. Can't complain.
Been beautiful.
Can't complain, sis. And Happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you.
While Sister Brooke and Brother Divine get it ready behind the scenes, this petition has been going around, and now major media outlets have begun to discuss it to deport Nicki Minaj based on, you know, her interactions and also some of the commentary that she has said in recent years when she disrespect the legacy of Malcolm X, when she disrespect the legacy of Harriet Tubman. This is just the get back, the lick back. But I always find that when you have people who come from abroad, they never find unsavory words for their own, and that they feel that they can clamor onto what it is that we have done here. I have never been a fan of her, even her disrespect of the GOAT, Lil' Kim. It's problematic because you build your legacy on disrespect of another group, but you have mum for the allegations against your brother, the allegations against your husband. Those words are mum. And yet you go to a platform like a Turning Point USA and, you know, talk about Christianity. But I wonder where they fit into that ideology of hers. So, Sister Marcia, Brother Tad, have y'all seen the petition?
Yes,
I have.
I heard about it. This is my first time setting eyes on it, but I definitely heard about the petition.
As you can see, it's already have 80,000 signers. This petition was produced by one of her barbs. So
to get her out of here.
Get her out of here.
They are offended.
As they should. Yes.
Sometimes.
Hold on, it wasn't Ray J, right? Because you know he's one of the barbs. I mean,
maybe
he said he was one of the barbs. Like I'm just curious.
And this is why I said earlier that this may be a protection, you know, for snitching on what really goes on behind the scenes. This may be her way of coming out, because she did accuse Ray J of on air. She said, "Yo, tell everybody y'all gay, all of y'all." I already mentioned that, so I'm not gonna go back into that.
Right.
Also, the fact that
I gotta say, real quick, Sister Marcia, and then I'm gonna stop talking. She's also never fixed her immigration status, so she's still technically illegal, even though she's been here since she was 5. But they're not gonna deport her once she protected herself going on that show. I'm done.
They can deport her if they want to, if they can't use her anymore. But even if, you know, there's so much things that we could say about this conversation because of what's going on with Trinidad, Venezuela, and America. Where is she positioning herself, given that she has to pick a side, and whatever side she's picking, how does it benefit her and her family? All her families that Sister Keisha just brought up, all of their trials and tribulation that looks on her. Is she trying to get somebody out? Is she trying to, because she truly can't go through her concert series with her family because of these allegations. So her husband can't travel with her. Her husband can't do this. She's very limited given certain laws. So is she trying to free up the gambit for him? Who knows? All I know is that, Chrisette Michele sang for Trump and everybody bashed her, right? And she's never been the same. And she is, I don't know her background, but she's been here, you know, and she's done the work, and she does classic music for us, and everybody threw her under the bus and said, no more Chrisette Michele, blah, 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 blah. And if it's just for political antics that people are saying no more and deport her, then I need us to look deeper. Like Sister Keisha just broke down that analysis of all her background. Are we just saying because she spoke at Turning Point that she needs to be deported, or is it deeper? Because if America is supposed to be the land of the free and you can have free thought, then she had her free thought on a public platform with people who are questionable, the same as her family background. That's my piece.
Me personally, she should be deported because she ain't legal. You shouldn't, and she should forfeit all dollars she made while she was here, because she made money from a paradigm that we created illegally. She shouldn't. That's just my opinion. Now, I don't know. She may have corrected her status, but she out of her mouth said that she was illegal. She was illegal.
She may have working papers. You know, that's their claim to fame. I got my working papers.
Yeah,
I'm sure she's at least a resident alien, because, you know, to say that, and, you know, since 5 years old, she got to be at least in her 40s by now. She's not a kid no more. So
we don't know that. That's the thing. We don't know that. Her legal status, according to her, she's illegal. Get the hell going. Get the hell going. You know, people forget that, you know, the actor Michael B. Jordan wanted to put out Juve liquor or some kind of cognac or whatever. She was the first one to say, you can't use That's our cultures, blah, blah, blah. But you made a goddamn living off of a culture that don't belong to you. And this is the thing that's pissing a lot of FBA off. It's the double talk. It's the double talk. We can't rock like that. But I don't see these other groups challenging her on that. Silence. So this is a problem. But let me get my sister Brooke up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Sis, you ready? Give me the thumbs up. She said, I'm ready. She about to go ham. We'll wait for Brother Divine. Sister Brooke, welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening?
What's going on? Can you hear me? Can I be heard?
Yes. Peace,
Happy
sister.
New Year, everybody. Let me be nice first before I go in. Hello, Brother Black. How you doing? Happy New Year, Sister Marcia. Happy New Year, Brother Tad. Happy New Year, Brother Black, to you too, because I don't want to be like, I ain't say it, but and Happy New Year to my big sis. Always love. All right, let's get to it.
Peace,
Okay,
Brooke. I heard you.
Okay, all right. Okay, Happy New Year.
First
of all, I just want to let y'all know this petition was already in circulation before she went on Turning Point USA because we tired of her. Okay, I never liked her from the beginning. I am when it comes to females in hip hop, that was my thing. Okay, and I felt like she's always been a talentless hack. And I never liked her from the inception of her career. And I just want, so there used to be this show called Futurama. Did anybody ever watch that show back? Okay. So they used to be, it was this time when they was making fun of Napster. And so you would buy this blank robot, right? And then you would download the celebrity of your choice into the robot, right? And then you could do whatever with the robot, right? Whatever. And that's how I felt Nicki Minaj was. She was a basic B. And all they did was download some titties on her. They downloaded a behind on her. And then they downloaded some lyrics to her. Okay. And then all of a sudden, bing, I'm a female MC. I hated her from the beginning. I felt like she was fake. She was phony. She wasn't real. And she's always been an actress. I want everybody to remember that when she came in the game acting like Lady Gaga, remember? With the stupid outfits, the stupid voice, and the stupid faces. Do y'all remember that? All of that nonsense. She had no lyrics. Okay? Then after that didn't work too well, when she got her LGBT community up. Right after that, because she got the lot of Lady Gaga fans. Then after that, she saw that wasn't working in the Black community. Then she hopped over with her Little Kim game and did the whole exact same picture as Little Kim, and then refused to give her homage. And let me be clear, when the Little Kim did that picture, that was before she had any of the surgery. So she was a sex symbol before she got her fake boobs, before she got a fake anything. But she couldn't be no sex symbol without it. Without her fake boobs. And I just want everybody to know that because of Nicki Minaj, now we got Iggy Azalea. We got a white woman who now they have done the same thing. She was basic Australian. And what did they do? They downloaded some boobs. They downloaded a behind. And then they downloaded a Southern accent. And this is because Nicki Minaj is who she is. She birthed Iggy Azalea. And I can't stand her. And so just to let you know, it don't have this petition don't have nothing to do with Turning Point USA. This petition wasn't ignited. It has gathered steam since Turning Point USA. But this petition, my girl DW was posting this petition long before Turning Point. She was already
shout out to DW.
DW, okay? She was already on that behind, and I was DW's always supports me on my email campaign, so you can look on my Twitter and see that I've been reposted DW's petition, or she said she didn't start the petition, but she sure was influential on getting it out there, okay? Because I wouldn't have started without her. So this was going on way before that. Now, like I said, okay, people that jumped on the bandwagon since Turning Point USA, but we've been trying to get her out because, like Sister Keisha said, when she sat there and she talked about Rosa Parks, she talked about Harriet Tubman, she talked about Malcolm X, and then turn around and have the nerve to say something about Michael B. Jordan wanting to start a rum. It was rum, by the way. Rum Because that wasn't, you sat there,
wasn't
you
she the
called
one?
Malcolm X. You called Malcolm X a looking ass nigga.
That's
Remember
right.
that?
That's right.
Making fun
But
of
you,
that.
but you don't hear nothing from the Pan-Africans on that, though.
Nothing. They don't got nothing to say about that. Just like they don't have nothing to say. Child, let me slow down. Let me slow down. But they don't have nothing
Sister
to say
Brooke,
about
go
that.
in.
They don't have nothing to say about that. Just like they don't have nothing to say about the person that killed him, and he was right up there in New Jersey this whole time. Until he died. Then they want to tell us who he is. So that things like that bother me. And I'll slow down.
Sister Brooke came in hot. Woo!
I really don't like Nikki. I never have and never will. Truth be told, I was always on Remy's side, but Remy, I'm gonna be honest, Remy not graduated. She's like got arrested development. I'm gonna need her to act like she's 40 years old. She still talk about I need a drug dealer. Girl, we old now. Okay, what are you talking about? You need a drug dealer. Grow up, ma'am. I need a 9-to-5er. I need a business owner. What is you talking about? I need her to grow up, but she ain't grown up. So, but back then when we were all young, Remy was the realness. Remy could battle you anywhere, anytime, you know what I'm saying, for whatever. You know what I'm saying? Before all this other craziness. And Nikki was the fake one. Nikki couldn't hold a candle to no Remy. Never could she battle anybody. Like I said, she was all gimmicks. And that's all she's doing now. She was pretending to be Lady Gaga. She pretended to be Little Kim. Then she pretended. And now she pretending to be Charlie Kirk's white friend. So she's just an actress. She's just an actress playing a role, and get her up out of here. And I will say this, she gotta have a green card at least, because she been coming in and out of the country with her concerts and stuff like that. And if she was illegal, once she was out of here, they wouldn't have let her ass back in here. So she gotta have some sort of green card. But can't that be revoked? Revoke it.
It sure enough can.
I think possibly it's more of a working papers too. If she's claiming by herself, these are the words that came out of her mouth, that she doesn't have any papers, then she just have working papers.
No, she said she came into this country illegally.
Okay.
At 5 years old.
Okay.
And this is what I'm saying. When you look at the law, because she came in here illegally, it should be revoked.
It should be revoked. I agree. It should be revoked. Send her, and I have to agree. And I've been saying this everywhere. Why is she not worried about her own country? Trinidad is going through it right now. She sit online and make jokes about Trinidad, right? But why is she not sitting here doing something about it? Why is she not trying to get support for her own people? No, but she's sitting there. She got so much mouth for what's going on over here. She in our business all the time. Sending her back home. She don't want to go back home. See, even with all the money that she got, she don't want to go back home. Why is that? Send her ass back home. And y'all talk about them Somalis. All of them. Send them all back home. I can't wait to see Ilhan Omar.
Yes.
I want to see her, doing that chain gang. I want to see her sent home in handcuffs.
Now talk about that, sis. What's going on with Ilhan Omar as it relates to comments made by the president, if you know?
Well, I mean, Brother Black talked about it earlier about how about him saying that they looking to see. It seems like she done funneled a lot of money from Minnesota to her husband. Shoot, as far as I'm concerned, you can take your husband with you and take Tim Waltz too. Okay, all of y'all can go to Somalia. I don't care. Get them all up out of here. Okay. Now I know we can't revoke their citizenships. You know what I'm saying, because they probably been here for their legacy. They've been here, so I don't think you can revoke their citizenship, but they can leave too. We don't want them. You can take them with you, since all of y'all was in bed together funneling this money, and so it's just her smugness. the way she sit there and she calls Americans stupid. Oh, we stupid. And no wonder she thought we were stupid. She was sitting there stealing all this money and everybody knew it. And then the second she got caught, she want to talk about, but first of all, let's talk about the fact that the Somalis was all over the internet for years. I'm not black. I may have melanin in my skin, but I'm not black. And as soon as she got caught, she gonna talk about, look what they're doing to a black woman. Where?
While she's sleeping white. While she's sleeping white at the same time.
And let's not forget that Somalia is now divided. They just turned it into a separate Somaliland. Now there's 50. It went from 54 to 50. If you were funneling money, if you were trying to protect your country, whatever you were trying to do, look at what's happening in your country, and you're in someone else's country creating chaos. Like, where is the development? Like, I could understand, like, theoretically, right? For me, as the person that I am from another country, parents from another country, for me, if I'm in a position and I could funnel and work and navigate something in my parents' land, then I'm doing that. But it doesn't seem like you're doing anything. It just seems like you're hoarding cash. Like, why? Because your country is split.
I can tell you what they're doing with their money. They buying properties in Kenya. And now Trump is over there talking about he gonna take the Kenyans, because Mumbai Saraki, the one that you played the other week, Keisha, I follow her.
Yeah, so Dr. Mumbai Saraki.
Dr. Mumbai Saraki, she was talking about how much property that the Somalians own in Kenya, and how Trump might, the United States might own half of Kenya because of the property. They found out that that's where the money is going, and they about to, and I'm with it. We're gonna go over there and get something. You ain't gonna steal all this money and we gonna get nothing out the deal. We gonna get something. I'm like, we like Denzel Washington. We ain't leaving here with nothing. And it drives me absolutely crazy, and it pisses me off when I know people personally who are fighting, taking pictures, all kinds of stuff of their children who need services. Their autistic children who need services, their elderly parents who they would like to stay at home and take care of, but they were denied services. And these people are stealing billions of dollars. Lock them all up. I can't wait to watch them go to the plane in chains and get flown back home. Get them up out of here. And let's keep in mind, because we ain't stupid, we know that both sides was allowing them to do it. We know that. But now, because you served a purpose, because Tim Walz was sitting there talking about, we can't say nothing. We can't say nothing about what's happening because it's gonna look like racism. After George Floyd, we don't want to. I be on all the right wing things that I see, and I'll be like, just to let you know, they said they not black. Therefore, when you attack them, it's not racism, okay?
I'm in their comments all the time. They ain't
an actual foundational Black American.
Yep, we be in their comments on X. Nope.
Let me show you.
These people are not us. Hold on, Brother Black. Hold on real quick. Shout out to DW in the chat.
Come on, DW.
We talked you up, sis.
Yes, we did. We love you, and the petition that you helped to spread. I know she constantly says I did not start the petition, but she brought it to the light.
Thank you, DW.
She helped me with all my things, with my call to actions, and my email letter writer campaign. So as soon as she did that, I was like, okay, my girl got a petition that she's circulating, so I'm gonna help her circulate it. And you can see, like I said, on my timeline and hers, that this was done before Turning Point USA.
Shout out to DW, always on the check-in, but they broke the law. Kamala Harris and the rest of those Somalis. Remember when you saw the videos of them saying they, are fighting for Somali? They care about Somali. Their concern was Somali. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. When these people make a pledge for naturalized citizens, they make a pledge, an oath of allegiance, where they solemnly swear to renounce loyalty to other countries, support and defend the United States Constitution and laws, bear true faith to the U.S., and serve the nation as required by law, all without mental reservation, says boundless immigration. This oath is the final crucial step in becoming a citizen, solidifying their commitment to the United States. Renunciation, to completely give up allegiance to any foreign state. Support and defense, to uphold the U.S. Constitution and laws against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Faith and allegiance, to be loyal to the United States. Serve, to bear arms, perform in combatant service, or do work of national importance when legally required. Honesty, to take the oath freely without hidden intentions. And so, when I hear folks, and that's why a lot of y'all, you like to wave your flag, you see? And you wonder why ICE is pulling you over. You broke the oath. So technically, you can have your citizenship revoked. So when you see people getting picked up, oh, I'm a U.S. citizen, you waving that flag of another nation. Plenty of times, Ilhan Omar has said she pled allegiance to Somalia. You've heard her on many occasions. Her citizenship should be revoked. That's why she attached herself to a white man. Thinking that's going to save her. But ask Candace Owens.
It ain't going to help her. I used to work for the, there's something back. So I used to work with the Brooklyn Court District on Camden Plaza or something like that, and where they're swearing in people. And I used to always tell them that, I used to always do like this post-interview conversation about what are you going to do now and stuff like that. And the people would be like, oh, well, I still have like 75 more family members in my home country that I'm trying to get over here. And now if I could get them over here within, because they give you a specific time frame that you could retrieve more people under this umbrella of becoming naturalized. And they were like, yeah, I'm going to try to use this opportunity to get these people in. And with all this that is going on around the world, I always question how people are truly entering and for what purposes, because there's always a hidden agenda. I didn't get fortunate to be buckled into a hidden agenda. My people just wanted to get out. But these days, people have hidden agendas when they're traveling to and from.
See, and I have to say this because that's why I hate liberalism. I hate it. I don't like socialism. I don't like anything like that. Because when you do that, one, you break laws. Two, you become part of an erasure, right, of other cultures and ethnicities. So there should never be a Chinatown anywhere. There should never be a little Bangladesh, a little Ecuador, a little Caribbean, a little Haiti. It should not be. You pledge the allegiance to the United States. And see, if we had lawyers like the great, that's my cousin, but like the great Clayton Powell, Charles Hamilton Houston, which everybody benefits off of the landmark cases and precedent that he set. Him along with Clayton Powell Jr. So when I go uptown to Harlem and I see little Somalia, that's disrespectful to the legacy of the man that made it possible for you to come here and work. For you
from
to
the same people who say they not black.
Right. On top of that, sis.
And nowhere where they're learning the legacy of how they got here.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Nowhere are they learning the legacy of how they entered this.
That's not an excuse anymore because, hold on, sis. We live in a world, you know enough to educate yourself to get your ass here. You know enough to establish yourself in this country. You know enough to fleece the system.
That part.
You know enough to establish a neighborhood of your own enclave.
But sis,
to run for office,
right.
Steal money. It's not easy to fill out.
I agree with everything, but just remember, it starts in that courtroom where they're giving people a 10 months opportunity to bring in as many people as you want. This is where it starts. After they're pledging that allegiance, those people have 6 months, it's somewhere to 6 months that they have an opportunity to bring in as many people as they can.
Hold on. That's the contradiction. Because hold on. Let me show you the contradiction. The contradiction here. You want to continue to bring people into a country that is not your native land. You want to keep bringing in folks, but you don't want to study the place that you're in.
And I'm in agreement with that.
You want to keep bringing in folks for your own benefit. We don't do that to you. We don't do that to you.
They don't have laws that accommodate you like that.
It's a part of them choosing to ignore, choosing to align themselves with a system that we have fought gallantly in this country. This is the problem. This is why a lot of this shit is being called out.
And I would agree that yet the oppressor, the capitalist, is allowing these things to happen.
Hold on. We can't say that because the oppressor, or the power structure. Let's go with that. The power structure, the same power structure that you complain about in your own goddamn homeland, but you don't stay there and fight. That's wrong.
I agree.
And you know who they are.
I agree.
But that's who you align with and tell us you not.
I agree.
And tell us we lazy and tell us we this.
Listen.
But you aligning yourself with them. We don't want to hear that no more. We tired. No excuses. Get them out of here.
I agree. Personally, I agree. But this is the trope that they get to use. And until that trope ends, they're going to continue to use it, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
That's why it's ending now.
That's why they're getting up out of here. They're not going to use nothing no more. They're getting a one-way ticket home.
Let me get my brother Devon, U.S. Freedmen Project president, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Brother Devon, how are you?
Happy New Year, family. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, brother.
I want to make sure I was. You guys know I speak the movie. I was just watching the first Bad Boys where Will and Martin is in the car and they chasing that foreign dude down, and Martin just starts reading him his Miranda rights, and Will is like, "What you doing?" He was like, "I'm getting it out the way." And so I want to make sure I got all my salutations out the way because y'all was already heated and hot, and I want to address my sister Marcia in this new year with love. That trope that you are saying is in effect. And as I like to say, that excuse that you're looking for, what anyone will do, that's over. It doesn't matter how much they try to play into it. It don't matter how much they keep playing that same old song, right? We know the real behind it now. So for all the things that these two sisters were pointing out. That's why that in the words of our foundational Black Americans down in the South, that dog don't hunt. And so it's no longer a line or a excuse that you can go to that we're going to give any type of credence to. We used to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? We used to say, hey, okay, that makes some semblance of sense, right? Where you just don't know. But then when we start to view it in juxtaposition to all the other tropes that they traffic in, how can you be this super smart demographic that outpaces us, that out-earns us, that's more successful, that has more degrees, but you're stupid enough to not know how the country works?
Well, no, they know how they work.
Second, sis, hold on. Let me just cook real quick, and I'll be quiet. Here, what I'm saying is this: the bottom of most bottom lines, I don't get no more bottom than this. The fact is that we can no longer allow you to play in our foundational Black American faces, because that's what you're doing when you use these lines and these excuses that you've been using for so long. Because here's the thing, we all know, we've all traveled, and I know my sister Marcia is Haitian, and you know, Brother Black is also non-foundational Black American. But here's the issue: when we go travel as foundational Black Americans, we could be going for an extended weekend. Sister Keisha knows the ins and outs of Jamaica by now, but based on her own admissions, when we're going to somebody else's country, we do everything that we can to make sure that we are in line with their traditions, their customs, and anything that might cause them disrespect. We're going to check that at the door. You cannot come into my country claiming that the power structure or the oppressors, like Sister Keisha just said, are the reason why you're fleeing. But then you come here, pledge allegiance to it, align with them, and then you come play in my face and tell me, oh, I just didn't know how it works. Fuck that. We're not taking that no more, because it's a lie. It's a part of the system that y'all use to take advantage of us and to keep us as the bottom caste. And unfortunately, again, I always say present company not included, but unfortunately, the ideology and religion of Pan-Africanism is what allows them to play that game. And like Brother Taz said before I got in here, we can't lose a game that we're not playing. And we're no longer playing that game. And I'll end there. I didn't mean to cut you off, sis.
Amen.
No, you didn't cut me off, and thank you, brother. All I'm going to say is that things that I didn't know, right? Because my parents, they did what they did and got here. But I didn't know this aspect of the system. I didn't know that I can go here and within 6 months or 10 months, I could bring in X amount of people. This was new thing to me. I was just like, oh, this is how people are coming in by the drove. These are things that I didn't know. And at that, I felt that I was an educated person. So I didn't know the ins and out of the system. That's why I brought that up, because no matter how intelligent you are, there is always going to be something that you don't know. And all those people that I spoke with, whether they were Pan-European, Pan-Asian, or Pan-African, they never mentioned that Pan stuff. They just mentioned the fact that they were bringing in X amount of people. From the Asian people to the Europeans and to the Africans, they all said, oh, I got 6 more people that I'm going to bring in. And once one person gets in, they can bring in 6 more people. And I was like, oh, this is a pyramid scheme. Oh, this is what's happening here. This is what I learned. And I just learned this about 4 or 5 years ago. So just sharing.
That brings me to the girl, you read my mind. You read my. I'm about to say that brings me to the email.
You better ask Brother Ted. I stay quick with it.
Lord Jesus, you read my mind, because I was just about to be like, that brings me right to the emails. You see that right there? I don't. No offense, Sister Marcia. I'm at the point. It's 2026. I don't care. I don't care. Send the emails. Send the emails because we don't care no more. There was a time when all of that might have pulled at my heartstrings. All that might have made me feel a little bit bad. It ain't today. And it ain't never going to be again. Send the emails. And let's go to number 5. Because that speaks to exactly what she was talking about. Because I usually start with email number 1. But today we're going to start with email number 5. My personal pet project. Okay? I need y'all to send an email to ask this unconstitutional reparations commission, because it is race-based, to bring in our brother Andrew Barnes from Numbers USA to talk about how immigration has hurt foundational Black Americans. I just got finished reading Back of the Hiring Line by Roy Beck. And what Sister Marcia is talking about is exactly the problem. It's not just the illegals that they are allowing. It is also chain migration. The fact that one person could now bring another person and another person, and then when that person gets here, then they got 6 months to bring in 5 or 6 or 20 people. And then now those 5 or 6 or 20 people, when they get here, they got 6 months to bring 5 or 6 or 20 people. All of these things, immigration from its inception. And we ain't just talking about the melanated immigrants. We talking about immigration in its entirety from its inception of this country has always been used to push Black Americans to the back of the hiring line.
Amen.
Every single one of them that come over here, they are used to lower the pay standards, to lower the safety standards, to lower just standards in general, that whatever we fight for, they use immigration to take it back.
Mm-hmm.
And this has always been done. And so not only that, but when you bring all these, the one person and then the next person and then the next person and the next person, do y'all realize that from the inception of social programs, they have always been the majority on the social programs, while white folks turn around and point their fingers at us? When you read this book, you read that in the beginning of the social programs, we didn't want the programs. We wanted the jobs. But no, they gave us programs and gave the jobs to the illegals. And so now they got the jobs and the programs. And this is the problem. This is why we are sick and tired of it. And you know what? These Democrats and the Boule and the Talented 10, they all been a part of it. And if you read this book, you will see they've all been complicit in it, because from that, this is why they didn't like Booker T. Washington, because Booker T. Washington felt like Black people should be able to be skilled enough to do every single job from the rooter to the tutor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the Talented 10th and the Boule feel like, oh no, I'm too good to wash dishes, or I'm too good to work at the poultry factory. I'm too good to work at the car factory. I want to get Black people should get advanced degrees. But here's the thing, even if every foundational Black American got an advanced degree, which is not possible, you know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be some people that's just not right for them. You understand what I'm saying? Not that we don't have the skills to be able to do it, but it's some places in life where you would rather be. Some people would rather not do that. So but let's just say we did. How are you going to get in an entry-level position? This is why our teenagers are right now walking around with nothing to do, because we got grown people flipping burgers.
Word.
When that used to be the job of a teenager, that used to be the after-school job of a teenager, that used to be, even in the supermarkets, we got grown adults trying to feed a family of 5 working at the supermarket. Supermarket jobs used to be the jobs of the college kids. That's how you used to put your way through college. So many, because that you would advance from the flipping burgers to working at the supermarket, because the supermarket paid a little bit more. You understand what I'm saying? But so how are our kids going to get a leg up? Even if everybody, while they're in college, while they pay for college, while they do all of these things. And this is where the Talented 10 also sold us out. The Talented 10, the Boule, the Democrats, They all sold us out. Every single report that they've ever done that was on immigration has shown how it has hurt us. Even the Rockefeller Foundation. Now, I got questions on what they was trying to do with that, but even the Rockefeller Foundation did a report and said that immigration hurts foundational Black Americans. Now, I personally think that maybe that's why they went on and kept doing it.
That is a fact. And if Sister Marcia remembers earlier broadcasts, we talked about gentrification and immigration. And I always said that immigration, before gentrification, immigration has always been our biggest problem. It doesn't matter where they come from. Me, Sister Brooke, Brother Devon, and Sister VX, we gonna hang out Sunday and see some things. But that has always been the crux for us. And which leads me to this man, Adam Clayton Powell Jr. A lot of people don't know about him. You know the name, but you don't know the legislation. You don't know how this man put it all on the line for his people. But other groups benefit from his work. And they always ask in some of these spaces, what have you done for us lately? Just the arrogance of that. What have you done for us? What are you doing for us now? So today in New York, there is a nurses strike, right? But these same nurses who came from different countries came in as scabs because Black American nurses knew from the jump conditions were bad, salary wasn't fair. So you came to get a leg up. So I find it contradictory that you are out here now asking for better working conditions and a fair salary. Take what you're given. Because the only option that you should have is to go back home. Be better nurses in your homeland. You came in as a scab. And even the Italians, the Irish, because right out of enslavement, Black people knew what their worth was. And right out of enslavement, we demanded fair conditions, fair salary. And they didn't want to deal with us. So they brought in the Irish and the Italians. But it backfired. Number one, they were filthy, unclean, rabid dog people. So they spread disease left, right, and center. On top of that, they had poor communication skills because for a lot of them, English wasn't their first language. So they couldn't communicate and they needed to be trained. And so deals had to be worked out where they brought in Black folks, Black Americans, to come in and train these folks. But then after the training, they betrayed us again. And this is why I always say immigration has always been a thorn in our side. So let's go to Adam Clayton Powell Jr. He was not merely a symbolic civil rights figure. He was a highly effective legislator who personally authored, introduced, and forced passage of multiple landmark federal policies, often by leveraging his position as chairman of the House Committee on Education and Labor. Below is a precise accounting of the legislation and legislative mechanism for which Powell was directly responsible, or principal driver. Now, I do know in a lot of these countries, India, Caribbean countries, they got to pay to send their children to school. There are school fees involved. even at the lowest level. But here, you can go to public school, and the taxpayers are paying for it. Powell Amendment 56 to 64, status introduced repeatedly, became federal policy in practice. Powell authored the Powell Amendment, which barred federal funds from any institution that practiced racial segregation. The impact: forced desegregation of public schools, hospitals we are working at, looking for better salaries, colleges and universities, became the enforcement backbone, later codified in Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, shifted civil rights from moral appeal to financial coercion. This was one of the most consequential legislative strategies of the 20th century. Title I of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. You know, they come here for a better education. No thanks to Adam Clayton Powell's people. Role: principal architect and floor manager. Powell was directly responsible for shaping and passing Title I, which provided federal funding to low-income public school districts. The impact: first major federal investment in K-12 education, established education as a federal civil rights obligation. Still one of the largest education funding programs in U.S. history. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 64, chief house enforcer and legislative strategist. Title VI outlawed discrimination in any program receiving federal funds. While the bill had multiple sponsors, Powell's Powell Amendment language is intellectual and legal foundation for that title. The impact: legal mechanism for enforcing desegregation nationwide, used to dismantle Jim Crow in schools, hospitals, transportation, and housing programs. So now you can take the subway, travel to and fro throughout this country. Housing programs, you can buy a home anywhere you want to if you got the bread. That came by way of Adam Clayton Powell. Minimum wage expansion and fair labor standard amendments. Now, as they out here striking, none of them mentioned Adam Clayton Powell. Because if you did, you would gain standing. But I want you to stay ignorant in this instance. Sponsor and committee driver. As chair of the Education and Labor, Powell expanded minimum wage protections to sectors that deliberately excluded Black workers. The impact: extended minimum wage to hospital workers, school employees, service and retail workers, raised wages for millions of Black and working class Americans. So when you come here and you get a job, let's say McDonald's, they can't pay you $3 an hour. It's illegal. National school lunch and child nutrition expansion. Some of your kids come to school, have free lunch, free breakfast. Powell expanded and strengthened federally funded school nutrition programs. Impact: guaranteed meals to children in poor districts, linked child hunger directly to education inequality, forced desegregation of lunch programs in southern states, federal aid to education, higher education, and teacher training. All you teachers out there, all of you college students. Principal author, committee shepherd. Powell authored legislation providing federal aid to colleges and universities, teacher training, and education infrastructure funding. The impact: expanded access to higher education for Black students, reduced institutional segregation through funding compliance. Number 7, anti-discrimination amendments across federal programs. Aggressive amendment strategists. Powell routinely attached anti-discrimination provisions to unrelated bills, making civil rights unavoidable. The impact: normalized civil rights enforcement inside federal law, made racism financially unsustainable at the institutional level. Why Powell was unique? He understood something many others did not. He weaponized committee power, unlike Hakeem Jeffries. Budget control, federal funding leverage. As a result, over 60 major federal laws bear his direct legislative fingerprints. Historical reality. Many later civil rights gains attributed to presidents or courts rest on Powell's earlier legislative architecture. His removal from Congress in '67 severely weakened congressional civil rights enforcement for decades. They said, we got to get this dude up out of here. All of you, your transit workers, your city workers, your federal workers, and you got your unions, got your back, thanks to Adam Clayton Powell. And a lot of people, Ilhan Omar, who come over here and get federal employment, because that's what she has.
Come on.
You got Adam Clayton Powell to thank for that. Ho. This man, Charles Hamilton Houston. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay. Charles Hamilton Houston. The legal philosophy and major gains achieved by Hamilton Houston, one of the most influential civil rights lawyers and strategists in U.S. history. Who was he? Houston was born in 1895, Washington, D.C., died in 1950. He studied at Amherst College, graduating in 1950, then served in World War I. After the war, he entered Harvard Law School, where he earned his LLB in 1922 and a doctoral judicial science in 1923. Importantly, Houston became the first Black student to serve on editorial boards of the Harvard Law Review. After admission to the bar, he practiced law, but also entered academia. From 1929 to 35, he served as vice dean and effectively dean of Howard University Law. Under his leadership, Howard Law evolved from a part-time night school into a fully accredited, nationally recognized institution. So for those immigrants who attend Howard University Law School, this is the man you have to thank for that. But are you following his blueprint?
The one they said that they taking over?
Yeah, the one they said they taking over. After admission to the bar, he practiced law. But, let me read down here. His legal philosophy: either you're a social engineer in strategic litigation, and he said either you're a social engineer or you're a social parasite. That was his mantra. He believed lawyers should be social engineers, not parasites on society. In his view, a lawyer's duty was to be a mouthpiece for the weak and a sentinel guardian against wrong, to guide social change through law, to reduce conflict, and to use constitutional tools to improve conditions for the underprivileged. Though influenced by sociological jurisprudence and even contemptuous legal realism, Houston rejected the idea that courts should simply defer to legislators. That's what's happening now. They defer everything to legislators. That's why we can't get nowhere. And you got lawyers like Ben Crump who are social parasites. But every time something happens, Black people like to run to him. Where is his litigation in the courtroom? Let's continue. Instead, he argued for judicial activism when necessary, using courts as instruments for enforcing constitutional rights, especially for Black Americans whose rights were routinely denied under state law. Practically, that meant carefully selecting cases and plaintiffs, gathering empirical evidence, for example, documenting disparities in segregated schools, and using litigation to challenge the constitutional legitimacy of segregation. Exclusions from juries, housing discrimination, labor and union exclusion. All of you government workers, the unions can exclude you now, thanks to him. You can live anywhere you want, thanks to him. You can have a jury of your peers, thanks to him. A lot of brothers and sisters been locked up, incarcerated, but you don't know the legal precedent this man set on your behalf. Houston understood change wouldn't come overnight. Rather than aiming for a single sweeping challenge, he crafted piecemeal, incremental legal strategy, winning smaller cases that gradually eroded the legal foundations of segregation and inequality. So in short, for Houston, the law was a tool of social reform. Lawyers had a moral responsibility to use it on behalf of disenfranchised people, and courts could and should be used to dismantle structural injustice. The major gains, and this is what I wanted to touch on. I'm going to go down to some of his cases real quick.
I just want you to let you know you're cooking right now.
Thanks, sis. Here is a clear chronological breakdown of the most important Supreme Court appellate cases argued or engineered by Charles Hamilton Houston, showing exactly how his long-term legal strategy dismantled segregation step by step, focusing on education, juries, housing, and labor. Because those who were pillars of his constitutional assault on Jim Crow. What is that movie with Denzel Washington? And these, I think, what's her name from Smollett is in that film. It's about these students. The great debaters. The character that Denzel Washington played is based on the life of Charles Hamilton Houston. Just to give y'all some insight on that. Charles Hamilton Houston landmark cases. Murray v. Pearson, 1936. Maryland Court of Appeals, issue segregated graduate education. First forced integration of a white law school. Because at that time, they try to keep Black people out of law schools. And what they said was, if education is separate, you should be fine. But they left out the part of equal. And so some of these schools, like when he started at Howard, it was a night school program. So that's not equal under the law. And he changed that precedent. What Houston achieved, the University of Maryland denied Donald Murray admission solely because he was Black. Maryland argued it could create a separate law school later. Houston argued that separate but equal must mean equal now, not in the future. The court ordered Murray admitted immediately. So when immigrants come here and they say, well, we go to law school, think Charles Hamilton Houston. Hollins v. Oklahoma, 1935. U.S. Supreme Court, racial exclusion from juries. Result, conviction overturned. What Houston established, Black citizens were being systematically excluded from jury service. The Supreme Court ruled that racial exclusion from juries violates the Constitution. Historic gain, this case helped weaken the legal foundation of all white juries across the South. Murray Rel Gaines v. Canada, 1938. U.S. Supreme Court. All of these cases litigated in the U.S. Supreme Court on our behalf that everybody else has grandfathered themselves onto it. And he asks, what have you done for me? Fuck out of here. The state must provide equal in-state education. Houston's argument, Missouri tried to pay Lloyd Gaines tuition to attend the law school in another state instead of admitting him. Houston argued that equal protection under the law must be provided within the state. Historic gain. The court ruled states cannot export Black students to avoid integration. You know, when I first read about this case, I looked at busing as the exact opposite of what Charles Hamilton Houston landmark case was to provide. But nobody looked at that precedent. States cannot export Black students to avoid integration. If a state offers a law school, it must provide equal access inside its borders. The case shattered the illusion of separate but equal at the graduate level. 4. Alston v. School Board of Norfolk, 1940. U.S. Supreme Court. Teacher salary discrimination. Result, pay equality ordered. What was proven? Black teachers were paid significantly less, than white teachers with equal credentials. Houston proved this violated the Equal Protection Clause. Black teachers were paid less. Now everybody gets an equal salary based on this litigation, based on this case. So I don't care if you're Italian, Irish, Chinese, Japanese, Jamaican, Haitian, Ghanaian, whatever. If you're a teacher, you're protected under this clause. That was 4-1 for us. Historic gain. This case established the economic discrimination in public employment is unconstitutional. Raise wages across the South for thousands of educators. My favorite, Smith versus Allwright, 1944, U.S. Supreme Court, white-only primary elections, worked on legal foundation. Thurgood Marshall argued the case. Southern states used political parties to block Black citizens from voting. The court ruled that white-only primaries were unconstitutional. Thurgood Marshall was a student of Charles Hamilton Houston. Now everybody gets to vote. Everybody has grandfathered themselves and benefit from this case, Smith versus Allwright. So when I hear tethers come on platforms and start talking about what gains that they attain from Black Americans, this is it, mother effer. Southern states use political parties to block Black citizens from voting. The court ruled that white-only primaries were unconstitutional. Historical gains. This decision returned real voting power to Black citizens in the South. Directly weakened the political control of segregationist governments. Shelley v. Kramer, another favorite of mine, U.S. Supreme Court, racially restrictive housing covenants. Houston helped structure the legal theory before his death. What the court ruled, private racist deeds could exist. The courts could not enforce racial housing segregation. Now, this case opens suburban housing markets. We can legalize residential apartheid nationwide. So when these folks come over here and say, we live in a better neighborhood than you, or we buy homes here, you got Charles Hamilton Houston to thank for that, cocksucker. Sweet versus Painter, 1950. The U.S. Supreme Court, Houston designed the strategy. Marshall argued the case. Key ruling, a separate Black law school in Texas was inherently unequal due to reputation, alumni networks, faculty prestige, access to power. Historic gain. This case officially shifted the law from separate but equal is allowed to separation itself causes inequality. Houston died the same year this decision was handed down, but this case became one of the direct legal foundations for Brown versus the Board of Education. 1954. Houston didn't live to see it, but this was his legal masterpiece completed. Why Houston is the architect of Brown? Every legal weapon used in Brown came from Houston's earlier cases. Gaines, which is state responsibility; Murray, immediate equality; Sweet, intangible inequality; Alston, economic discrimination; jury cases, due process violations. Historic gain. School segregation ruled unconstitutional nationwide. So you can go to any school you want to. Because he made it so. So when I hear people say they came over here for an education, but you don't take the time to learn about the man who made it possible for you. White folks just didn't decide to be nice. You know enough.
Can I add?
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
Or can I add, when they sit there and tell us that we are privileged, that white folks gave us something, they don't realize that we had to fight and you know what I'm saying, and scrape for every inch of ground that we got. They sit there and tell us, oh, you guys have the biggest spending power because you guys are privileged to be. No. Nobody gave us anything. We had to fight for every inch of ground that we got. And you didn't.
Can't hear you, sis.
I stopped talking. I'm gonna let you keep going.
Sorry.
I know you gotta keep going. I ain't want to go on a tangent, but I'm just saying, like, that it drives me crazy when they talk about our privilege. There's no privilege. We fought for what we got. Listen to this legal mind, how he set that up like dominoes, the chess moves he was making. That went on to keep giving us fruit after his death. Man, listen, keep going.
Houston didn't attack segregation emotionally. He dismantled it surgically, case by case, using the Constitution against the system that claimed to uphold it. What Houston gave the United States: permanent legal gains, constitutional destruction of graduate school segregation, unequal public funding, jury exclusion, white-only primaries, racist housing enforcement, creation of the modern civil rights litigation model. The NAACP Legal Defense strategy came by way of Houston's work. Then now they use that litigation to help others. The professional training pipeline that produced Thurgood Marshall, William Hasty, Oliver Hill, and Spotwood Robertson. Redefine the role of lawyers as social engineers for justice, not technicians for profit. Benjamin Crump. Charles Hamilton Houston's legal model versus modern civil rights litigation. And again, y'all can research this for yourselves. Case by case. You know, a lot of folks like to send their kids to these Catholic schools. That's your choice. This man made it so. Houston's philosophy: a lawyer is either a social engineer or a parasite on society. Law is a weapon, not a negotiation tool. Court victories must change national precedent, weaken institutional power. Moral clarity: segregation is illegal violence. No compromise with structured injustice. Modern civil rights philosophy: law is part of a multi-tool political strategy. Emphasis on representation, access, compliance. Often frame injustices as systemic bias. Ilhan Omar. Institutional failure. Not always constitutional violation. Key differences that matter. Houston attacked the root. Graduate schools, professional classes, judges, policy, modern litigation, often attacks. Surface level practices without destabilization of power pipeline. Houston's weaponized the Constitution. How many times I tell y'all, study the goddamn Constitution, not just the federal Constitution, but the states in which you live. Every case tied directly to the 14th Amendment. Precedent for us. Due process, equal protection. Modern cases often rely on federal statutes, agency rules, consent decrees. Houston used small cases for big earthquakes. One graduate school case reshaped national law. Many local cases. Houston trained his army, built Howard Law as a legal war college, dispersed across many institutions without unified national strategy. What Houston would likely critique today: over-reliance on nonprofit funding, foundation grants. Isn't that what they thrive on today? Excessive focus on optics and media circles, weak connections between legal battles and real economic power, too much defensive litigation, not enough constitutional offense. Hakeem Jeffries. What modern litigation does better? Faster emergency response, expand protections, gender, disability, immigration status. Everybody grandfathered onto what this man did. Eric Adams, Zoran Mondami. Use of technology, class action, national injunctions. Houston built a constitutional demolition strategy. Modern civil rights laws mostly manages the damage left behind. So I just want everybody to know, when people start talking that talk, I'm clear when I say fuck out of here with that. Because I know who did what for me. I didn't waste time when I sat at the feet of Alton. He made sure we learned about Charles Hamilton Houston. And Mother Effers claimed that I was at UAM all the time. You missed that. You missed that, goddammit. And I land there. Brother Devon, your thoughts on these two great giants that came before us?
I'm just so excited to be and sit where the ancestors have placed me. And it's such a powerful feeling to see, almost like when people say, like, when you grow up in the religion of Christianity, as I did, right? They constantly and consistently tell you that, that God knows every hair on your head, right? And your positioning in life is predestinated, right? It's already written. And so, I don't believe in mistakes anymore. I don't know how far down that road I go anymore, even though it is my foundation, and they do say, raise up a child in the way they should go, and they shall never depart from it. But I'm saying all that and sound like I'm rambling, but I want to say that the positioning that I'm in, getting introduced to you two, my OGs in this, and being able to sit for all of 2025 on this bridge, and to start off 2026, even though I did have some delays. I again apologize for my lateness, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I made the bridge on the first day of 2026. I see that without knowing it, right? Because this is all new. I'm not too proud to admit that this is all new information to me. And most information that you share and impart on me is new information. And even when the sister was on, Sister Pat was on with us, and she said something really, really profound. And it sat with me, and I still carry it. And this is just an extension of it, listening to you break down this history. When she was just co-signing the work that we're doing and saying, man, this is exactly what Alton Maddox was talking about, what he shared with y'all, that he wasn't able to share with us, but we get as an extension from him through you. And to see that the foundation that these greats have laid unintentionally is the foundation of the work that we do at the U.S. Freedmen Project, and is the basis of our entire argument against what they're trying to do with this whole facade, and just with all of our current body politics for foundational Black Americans. And to see that we're standing on the work that our icons and our greats that I've now been introduced to were doing is humbling, but it also is confirmation to me to know that I'm on the right track, and that we've literally, people say you're doing God's work, right? But we've literally been doing the ancestors' work, doing not my father's business. When people talk about, God, Jesus, and Christianity, but I'm doing my father's business based on my paternal line, based on my lineage, based on my ancestry, based on my ancestors. It's just a powerful, humbling experience. And I thank you, for sharing what you shared and giving me this invite to the bridge to start 2026 off the only way we could have started it out, an extension of what we did in 2025. So thank you. Thank you.
Brother, your thoughts on these two great, powerful men, Black men. A lot of people like to throw Black men under the bus, like to disrespect the legacy. I don't know what people deal with. Your thoughts, Brother Tad, on these two great giants?
Oh man, I'm loving it. I'm familiar with the works of Adam Clayton Powell, but I really wasn't familiar with the works of Brother Charles Hamilton Houston. But it's dope. It's just confirmation, and I echo the sentiments of our brother Divine. As we come into this new year of the Gregorian calendar, first I want to say happy heavenly birthday to Dr. John Henry Clark, one of the happy belated to Dr. Ben. These are some of the teachers that have blessed us with some information we can start building on. I remember in the Great and Mighty Walk, Dr. Clark went to his teacher, Otto Schomburg, also Arthur Schomburg, and he said he'd like to know about his people. He said, yo, go study everything the European teaches, and there you'll find your people, right? With that, we embarked on this journey as Pan-Africans, but all it did, like everything else in life, is cyclical. We left our home, as you said, Brother Divine, trading up a child in the way he should go, and it took us all around. We done did community work, went to Africa and the Caribbeans, and we came right back home to the teachings of our immediate ancestors, of our grandparents, and our local community ancestors. That's why this FBA Renaissance is so important, so valuable. As I always say, we are literally making history right now, building on what the ancestors that came before us have already taught. Not just these two political, legal giants, but also what our grandparents and great-grandparents told us who we are. And this is just confirmation that we are on the right track. So we can give our children proper knowledge of self, or also known as right knowledge. We don't have to look outside of ourselves to look for greatness. We are divine by design. We were already born great. We was born on purpose with a purpose. And we're thankful for them men who walked in their purpose. You know? And I just think it's so dope that the six of us could sit here, have these conversations, have the people in the chat rock out with us, because so many people that I one time had a high level of respect for is now diminished when I see that we have new information and they still can't pivot. And so many people are anti-FBA. And some of them are literally FBA and they're anti because they've been so indoctrinated and brainwashed. And they want to say we bugged out, but that's self-hate in itself. When you deny your own parents and grandparents and great-grandparents who you know for some mythical people you will never meet, never know, that may have or may not have come on a ship. You know, we're still uncovering and unpacking so much. And we're grateful for the legal minds that have fought tooth and nail. We thankful for Adam Clayton Powell and our brother Charles Hamilton Houston for the legal groundwork that they laid, that so many people did not know. You knew that it was done, but you didn't know by who. So, Sister Keisha, I thank you for putting context to it, for speaking specific to it. That's what delineation means. Speaking to something specifically, not this vague, ambiguous identity we get. Oh, we all African. All right. And so is the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Germans. Now what? All life started there. Now what? But I'm going to just say this, just because I'm going to leave this as my final word. You know, we in the new year, family. It's time for new ideas, new friendships, new relationships. It's time to start shaking that dead weight. People that don't mean you no good shouldn't have no place in your life. We got to start shaking them. People who want to jump on your social media posts or just call you up to argue about things, hopefully you don't really have the time nor the energy for that. Take that energy you would use debunking a BS and just put it in something constructive, man. We about building over here on the Brooklyn Bridge. And hopefully you'll take that same sentiment. So hopefully you were inspired by something you heard here today. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things seem right now, it's always better days ahead. Peace, family.
Before we move to Sister Marcia, Brother Devon and Sister Brooke, Brother Black, because Brother Tab mentioned Arthur Schomburg. And I have to continue with the frame of the architects. John C. Edwards was Arthur Schomburg's teacher.
Wow.
When you look at our brother who formed Negro History Week and then later Black History Month, why is his name escaping me for some reason?
Carter G. Woodson.
Carter G. Woodson, thank you.
Carter G. Woodson, yes.
Before you had Negro History Week, you had the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, founded by this man. And that's why I always try to get people to understand. Research the architects. Who came before them? And when you do that, you get a greater context to what it is that you're looking at. This man was a journalist. He was an activist. And according to Arthur Schomburg, had one of the largest libraries on Black life and Black history that he had ever seen. So, Dr. Clark learned from Arthur Schomburg, because people like to leave it at that, you know. But Arthur Schomburg had a teacher. And we have to remember that. Carter G. Woodson, father of Black History Month. He too had a teacher. Bruce Grit or John C. Edwards. So again, here on Thorough Black Talk, we try to give you the blueprint so that you can stop making dumbass mistakes. And that's why I'm able to see the bull S for what it is. Before you even tell me, I can see the BS. I can see the BS because I studied the architect. So with that saying, Brother Black, your final thoughts and commentary. Let's get the people out of here.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Great show again. Once again, you know, I love to listen to. So thank you, Sister Keisha, for all those lessons, Brother Divine, Sister Brooke, everybody contributed. We just gonna keep going. This year, I started at the top when saying that this year is gonna be the year we gonna really see some shit, and so just be ready for it. We still got the soul activity going on. You know, when we want to move it to a more universal level. I'm not going to get into that because, it's just more of the same that I've been saying for years on the show. And things are going to happen. So with that said, I don't want to delay too long. I don't really got much to say. It's been a mouthful, an earful to listen to. And see y'all on the bridge next week. Let's make 2026 a great year for all of us as a people. Whether we aligned or those who will come aboard later on, and let's just get it done and get it popping. Peace. This is Keisha back.
We'll move to Sister Marcia, then Brother Divine and Sister Brooke, and we get the people up out of here. Sister Marcia, your final thoughts and commentary. Gotta unmute.
I'm sitting here saying a lot, but anyway, I'd like to thank you for another riveting lesson on Black American history. This is something that I know I've never had. I've known of Adams, but Houston I didn't know of. And it brings a lot of things full circle for the fact that a lot of my brothers and sisters who come into this country, either they came in the 60s and the 70s, or they came in later on, because I do think there's a different type of conversation about when you enter. But I do want to say thank you, Sister Keisha, because you do bring new light every time. And we must understand that there's always different conversations that happens. I want to also say that I'm a constant learner. And I know that unions play a factor in how people enter into this country, and oppression plays a factor on how people enter this country. But with all that said, 2026 is for us to ride our high horse and tell the truth wherever we see fit, however we see fit, and get corrected. We get corrected with love, because love is what's going to bring us forward. If we don't work on love, we're not working on nothing. We're working on just being enemies of the oppressor, and we want to be friends of really bringing great salvation to our people, because our people deserve it. Our ancestors, no matter where they lie, they fought, and they fought hard. So 2026, let's ride our horse. Let's be happy. Let's be merry. And let's be ready to deal with the truth. With that said, Sister Keisha, thank you again.
Brother Divine, your final thoughts and commentary.
Thank you. I just want to say, I know we kind of, I can't remember what the conversation was about when we talked about the last time I made a reference to um, the biggest difference between learning about some of these figures in history and kind of seeing them in a dramatic setting, kind of giving it context. It might be the same show, but I wanted to say a great, great, great depiction. Even though our brother is not FBA, I mean, he's a great actor, and I would say a great depiction of Adam Clayton Powell Jr. and what he did is in the show Godfather of Harlem. And you know, he is. I mean, it's a great depiction. Like I said, given the dramatic context to kind of see some of the things he fought for and how he worked for our people. The next thing I want to say is just one of the things that you broke down about Mr. Houston is that it said he attacked segregation, not emotionally, right? Unemotionally. And I think that's so powerful because one of the biggest tools that the Democrats have over our people in this work that we find ourselves doing is that they are hell set and hell bent on keeping us emotional about the predicament we find ourselves in, but the process itself, whether they're trying to bring up feelings of nostalgia or guilt with what was done to our ancestors and the reason why we owe them a vote automatically. One of the things that this Foundation Black American Renaissance does is it bases itself on logic and on things that are standards, right? Not variables. And so our lineage, our ancestry, our families are one of those things. And so I think about a conversation I had with a Democrat shill recently because he was out fear mongering and talking about the Voting Rights Act and talking about all the things that this Supreme Court is stripping away. And he talked about, you know, he's one of those ones that opposes us standing on lineage. And he talked about, oh, well, why aren't you going and trying to get reparations from this administration? And, you know, look at the Supreme Court. They don't support reparations. And I had to explain to him logically, right? That's the emotional response. And they want you to fearmonger and get all twisted and twisted up about it. And it's like, listen, the Supreme Court doesn't support reparations and the Supreme Court doesn't oppose reparations. The Supreme Court is there to interpret the Constitution. And so what you have to understand, as I was explaining to him, is that they're not opposed to reparations. They're opposed to reparations based on race because of the 14th Amendment. And I said, this court, like any other court that is referencing the Constitution correctly, understands that reparations based on lineage is fully constitutional. In fact, this same court, through Clarence Thomas and all the other ones that they love to debase and denigrate for other reasons that are obvious, the bottom line is they've already confirmed that reparations and remedial justice based on our status and freedom being a under-inclusive proxy for race is still good law. So I want everybody to understand that. This Supreme Court has already said the reparations that we're looking to fight for and we're looking to advocate for based on lineage is constitutional. And that is their position. Whether they agree with it or not is inconsequential. And this masterclass put on by Sister Keisha tonight and explaining our ancestors that attacked it in such a way lets you know that they are still bound by the rules. It goes back to one of my favorite movies, The Matrix, where he was telling Neo, even though they have all this power, they are still bound by the rules. And so that is the system in the game that we're playing. And so I also wanted to I'll be remiss to say this, and this will be my closing statements. And I'm taking notes like Sister Brooke do in 2026. That's what I'm looking at. But the bottom line is this, I wanted to say this real quick. That another thing, just to add on to this beautiful foundation of Black American history, for those that didn't know, and I'll be the first to say I found myself, and I'm not ashamed, I found myself in church last night going into this morning, request of the family. right? You got to listen to the family if you're doing this work, regardless of what my personal feelings are. But it led me to this revelation that I knew about, but it kind of just hit home because I was in there this year. And I think it's apropos as we move on with this work. But foundational Black Americans invented, created the concept of the watch night service, for those that don't know. And so on December 31st, 1862, on that New Year's Eve, anticipating our freedman status becoming a reality through the Emancipation Proclamation of January 1st, 1863, we had watch night services throughout the country, waiting in anticipation to see if that Emancipation Proclamation was going to be passed, if President Lincoln was going to live up to what he said he would do, because our people understood the power of what that was going to do and open up for ourselves to then make a way for a Mr. Houston and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. And so for all those that were at a watch night service like myself last night, understand that you were a part of a centuries long, right? Like, I mean, think about how long we've been in this country and what we've done and what we've contributed, right? Like, not quite a century long for that well, actually, yeah, more than a century long, right? Like 1862, right? To 1960, so over 100 years of culture that we've established. And I'll end by saying this because Brother Tab brought him up. Today is the great John Henrik Clarke's birthday. Today. And I want to say that one of his favorite lines that I live my life by is that Black people don't owe nobody nothing but an ass whooping. And so I want to make sure I let you know, to all the tethers and to all the white supremacists, as we move to get what we're owed, make sure you don't get no ass kicks in 2026, because we are also giving out what is owed. And so I will land on this and say this one time, that all things that need to be repaired for foundational Black Americans will be fixed in 2026.
Sister Brooke, your final thoughts and commentary.
Whew. Man, I have my heart is beating fast. I want that education that you gave us on the strategic legal moves that our ancestors made is exactly why they have brought over the amount of illegals that they have. Because if they can get them in these positions, because like Sister Marcia said, they don't know what we fought for. They don't know, nor do they give a fuck. Let me just add that. Because if they gave a damn, they would find out. But they go to whole law school and wag their fingers at us. But they are used to roll back every chess move he made. And this is why we can't allow it anymore. We're not going to allow people to roll back the games that we fought and thought into existence so hard for. We're not going to let, not on my watch. We're not going to let that happen, because that's what this is what it's all been about. They replace us at the HBCUs. How telling is it that he founded the legal department and tried to make it a war room for Black progress? And then how many years later, 20, 30 years later, they was trying to get rid of our sister help me out, because I don't know why I can't. I'm blanking on her name right now. Our sister who was in psychology.
Dr.
Francis
No.
Cress Wilson.
Frances Cress Wilson. Then they fired her. Who was in power at that? Who's in power right now at Howard University?
Tell it.
Who is the president of Howard University with his medical issues? It's a Trinidadian who's sitting there with his medical issues while he sits there and lets those kids in the dorms be in dorms that got mold running all through them. And if the dorms had been in that condition when he went to school, he died. But now this is what we have, and this is why it's so clear. The chess move they made to counteract the chess moves that our greats made. And I just want to say, with all due respect, Sister Marcia, we haven't been embracing our melanated family with love since the very first time we met you. The very first time we begged for them to, well, not begged, but we fought for y'all to come. We opened our doors. We opened our homes. We opened our buying power. We opened our economics. We opened our laws. And we were given, and not by all, but we were giving y'all's ass to kiss. The time for playing in our melanated faces is over. So if you are not with us, you are against us. And this train is moving 100 miles an hour. And we will flatten anybody in our way. So we're tired. Love, as I watched the old speech with Tariq, as our melanated sister Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it? When you slapping me in my face, when you abusing me, when you are abusing me with your words, with our economics, and with the laws, what's love got to do it? Fuck love. As you would tell to any domestic abusing partner, fuck your love. I'm out the door. I'm only here to love those who love me. And clearly, foundational Black Americans are not loved. And that's okay, because we love each other. I don't need your love. I don't need anybody's love who don't got no love for me. And let me say something. And this is one of my favorite West Indian sayings. We beg no friends. If you ain't our friend, Sister Keisha, Brother Tad, the United African Movement, Altamatics, they spent years and decades teaching and loving and embracing this generation. We sick of it. The time for that was back then. If you didn't get on board on this locomotive at that time, it's too fucking late. And we moving 100 miles an hour. And you know, everybody knows what happens to anything you put in front of 100-mile-an-hour moving train that just went up to $3. So
with the broken doors.
We're not playing no more. There ain't no love in the city. There ain't no love in our hearts no more. It's only fight. It's only anger. And it's only strategy. That's it. Logic. We moving forward with logic. And logically, what sense does it make for us to keep on loving people who don't love us back? What sense does this make? And then when people say that, you know, Black people have been fighting all over the world, well, show me your Houston. Show me your automatics. Show me what's the first guy's name? I'm sorry, you know I'm bad with names. Help me out.
Adam Clayton Powell Jr.
Show me your Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Show me your Carter G. Woodson. Show me your this. Where else are these people located? And I'm going to bring it right back to New York. As we sit here, we have a new mayor who sat up there and said that New York was built by immigrants. Well, then show me a New York somewhere else. I sit there and I follow one of these pages called NYC Immigrants on Instagram, and they have taken every single part of the city and parceled it off to other groups. While Ilhan Omar's president from Somali sits there and talk about Ilhan Omar is not here to help Americans. He said, on top of the fact that they already previously had the conversation that she is supposed, that her job here is to usurp the Black Americans' power. In his language, that's what he said in the conference room. This video of it, go find it. So, and then this is a public speech. He was in a conference room at that time. Now this is a public speech where he's on a podium. He said Ilhan Omar's job is to push forward Somali's wants and goals for that country. Isn't that treason? That is legal treason. You are not supposed to be here trying to put forward the goals of another nation. So this is what we have. We don't, like I said, if everyone was fighting the way we fought, there would be no need for you to be here. But you're here. And we tried to embrace you. We tried. And like I said, there are some, especially Caribbeans. There are Caribbeans that I love like family, but they ain't in my way. And I will continue to love them like family. I don't want to see nothing bad happen to them. But the rest of y'all that's in my way, good luck. And it's 2026. And we're done. And we gonna keep beg no friends. All right, I'm done.
With that being said, Sister Brooke, Brother Divine, I will see you on Sunday. We're gonna handle some lineage business from an educational perspective. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Since October, we've gained over 3,000 new subscribers. And so shout out to all of you for coming in and rocking out with Thorough Black Talk Worldview, where we give you history, news, current events from our perspective. Catch us Sundays, 2 p.m. on the OG Wisdom Podcast with my brother Tad C. Gutter. The conversation don't stop here. We continue, baby. It's on and popping. Stop. Like Sister Brooke said, either you're on the team or you're in the way. There's no more talking. You know, just like a bully. You can talk till you get blue in the face, but until you beat the hell out of that bully, you're going to always get picked on. And right now, the Tethers is getting their ass whooped. And you can align yourself all you want with the power structure, and they are showing you exactly who they are and who we are. And you better learn a lesson. Either you're fighting or you're a foe. With that, I bid you all a great good night. Stay kind, stay true to each other. As Brother Tad said, make 2026 progressive for you and your folks. Our goal right now is to get our checks cut. So With that, family, we bid you a good night. We out.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From brother Tad to sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves.